Kids shows are generally straightforward, right? You know, some laughs, maybe an important life lesson or two. But some theorists out there have dove a bit deeper into the shows that you've always loved and come up with theories as to what the show and its characters are really about. And trust me, you'll never look at these shows the same again. Here are 10 insane kids show theories that will blow your mind. Number 10 is Dexter's Family is gone. As a TV show that made the nerdiest kids feel like they could save the world, Dexter's Laboratory was a popular program. But if one fan theory is to be believed, then there may be a much sadder story going on in the background of this otherwise humorous plotline. The theory is that during one of the boy genius's experiments, something went wrong and his entire family was killed. Look at that, childhood ruined already. But it gets even stranger because the characters that we see in the show, including his clumsy, frustrating sister Dee Dee, are actually clones that Dexter has created to replace those he lost. This explains why none of them seem to be aware of what he's up to at any point, or even that there's a lab under the house, as they're only as intelligent as he's made them to be. Dexter has shown in certain episodes an ability to clone people, so it's not that far of a stretch. Number 9 is Dr. Claw's real identity. In the cartoon Inspector Gadget, the sleuth protagonist and his niece and dog solve mysteries and combat the forces of the villainous Dr. Claw, an antagonist whose face is never shown. But one theory suggests that the reason we never see Dr. Claw's face is because it's identical to Inspector Gadget's. And that's because Claw is Gadget. Or rather, I should say, the man that the robotic Gadget is based on. With all of his arms and legs able to extend and other devices only a call away from forming out of his body, it's fairly obvious that Gadget isn't human, but some kind of android instead. Okay, get ready for this! What if he's a robotic clone of the original Inspector, who's become so absorbed with proving that he's better than his mechanical counterpart that he's gone full evil? Go, go, Gadget, mind boom boom! Number 8 is Pinky is a genius and Brain is insane. Despite their names seemingly defining their personalities, the main characters of the show Pinky and the Brain may not have been properly labeled. Now, although Brain has a larger head and always seems to come up with plots to achieve world domination, what if he's actually the insane one? And if he is, that would make Pinky the genius. The theme song does say there's one of each, but doesn't actually say which is which. Every night when Brain explains his plan, Pinky will offer a reason why it won't work, and he's often right as the plan utterly fails. Perhaps Pinky is just pretending to be dumb. Plus, if insanity is defined as repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, then it is clear that the Brain's nightly attempts to take over the world is a symptom of his own insanity. Number 7 is Ash's Pokemon Coma. One of the biggest cartoons of the late 1990s, Pokemon, followed Ash Ketchum as he traversed the globe, trying to capture one of every pocket monster in existence and become a Pokemon master. Of course, during the many years he spent on that journey, Ash doesn't seem to age past a 10-year-old. Well, Matt, that's weird. How do you explain that? A popular fan theory can explain this oddity, as it says that almost the entire show takes place in the boy's mind. Allow me to explain. In an early episode of the first series, Ash is electrocuted by Pikachu, his mousy best friend. But according to this theory, ever since that moment, he's been in a coma, dreaming up all of his adventures. It goes on to explain that the evil villain Giovanni is actually his interpretation of his own father, and helps settle why a 10-year-old boy would be allowed to travel on his own. If this is true, it makes sense why they would never actually reveal that on the show, because it doesn't have the same ring as capturing a Pokemon. I choose you, Coma! Number 6 is ScoobyDoo is the result of a Soviet experiment. Guys, Scooby-Doo can talk, and no one seems to care. Have you ever wondered why? Well, at least one group of people have, and they've developed quite the theory. According to it, the cartoon pup is the result of an experiment conducted within the Soviet space program. The show premiered in 1969 in the midst of the Cold War, and just 2 months after America won the race to the moon. The theory suggests that it's a jab at the dogs that the Soviets sent before manned crafts left orbit, and Scooby is apparently the program's attempt at making a dog smart enough to operate a spaceship. While breeding these super intelligent puppies, the scientists apparently made one that could almost speak English. But the dog was smuggled away before it could be experimented on and eventually adopted by Shaggy. That was a mistake. Number 5 are the Smurfs are white supremacists. Oh man, this is getting worse. As one of the most beloved cartoons of all time, you'd never suspect that the Smurfs were anything but a lesson-teaching show about tiny magical people just trying to go about their lives without the interference of a human-sized sorcerer and his cat. However, those cute creatures may have represented something far less wholesome and much more terrible than they portrayed. There's a fan theory that suggests that Smurfs symbolized white supremacy. I know, let me explain. The cartoon showed its main villain, Gargamel, as a filthy, crooked-nosed individual obsessed with gold, which the theory says was a caricature of the Jewish faith. That, while all the Smurfs wore white and their leader Papa was clad in red, just like the KKK. Plus, in one story, when a bite turns the Smurf's skin black, they seemingly lose all intelligence and become barbaric. This is horrifying. Number 4 is the Care Bears are voodoo spirits. Care Bears countdown, I'm gonna curse you. It turns out that all those adorable animated animals who were always teaching kids valuable lessons about sharing and helping others may not have been exactly what they appeared to be. Yes, if this theory is to be believed, then the Care Bears may be representations of voodoo beliefs in what some feel was the height of the faith's infiltration of children's entertainment. And disturbingly, there's actually quite a bit of proof to back this up, including each character's belly badge, the symbol that each one has on their stomach, resembling the symbols of voodoo gods. Then there's the fact that the Care Bears live in a village on a cloud, not unlike, say, a holy city. And then there's the name Care Bears, which very closely resembles Carrefours, a district in Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, where voodoo originated. Okay, my childhood's ruined. Do we have to continue? Okay, let's do this. Number 3 are the Fairly Odd Parents are Timmy's antidepressants. It may seem like a magical show about dealing with problems with the help of a pair of fairy godparents, but there may be some science behind that magic. Specifically, the characters of Wanda and Cosmo not being magical creatures at all, but in fact the antidepressants that Timmy's on to deal with his issues. This fan theory claims that Timmy's problems seem to begin at exactly the same time that his 2 friends appeared to him and offered to help him. It goes on to reveal that the young boy has been abused or experienced some other trauma, and the fairies are actually the Zoloft and Prozac medications that he's been taking to combat his severe depression in coping with it. Whenever there are repercussions from abusing magic, that's allegedly a metaphor for abusing antidepressants, which is ironically kind of depressing. Number 2 is the Count feeds on visitors to Sesame Street. Though the theme song announces that it's a sunny day sweeping the clouds away, Sesame Street has at least one occupant that would probably rather avoid such weather, mostly because he'd burn up in it. That character is the Count, or Count Von Count, as he's also called, the numbers-obsessed vampire muppet that's supposed to teach children more than terrify them. But having a vampire on the show does explain some things that most people fail to notice. For example, why some people, often kids, only appear in one episode each. How can such a popular street have so few permanent residents? It's because he's thirsty, blah! Yes, that's right, the theory says it's all because of the Count's appetite. For decades, the vampire has been feeding on the guests of Sesame Street, which is why they always get replaced. How many lives can he take? 1, 2, And number 1 is Winnie the Pooh's friends symbolize mental illness. A staple character in millions of people's youths, Winnie the Pooh was a curious teddy bear who was constantly finding trouble and bringing smiles to children's faces. And that alone makes this popular fan theory truly sad. According to it, all the characters in the 100-acre forest are actually individual examples of different mental illnesses. And all of them exist in one form or another inside of a schizophrenic Christopher Robin, the young boy who owns all the stuffed animal forms. Okay, here's where it gets dark. Winnie the Pooh represents eating disorders. His best friend Piglet symbolizes generalized anxiety disorder, and so on. Oh, I'll just explain the rest, why not? Tigger is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, Rabbit is obsessive compulsive disorder, Owl is dyslexia and short-term memory loss, Roo is autism, and Eeyore is obviously depression. Okay, the list is over because I personally can't take anymore. Mama! Well, that's it. Your childhood is now ruined. I hope you enjoyed this, but let me know in the comments what you guys thought of these theories. Do you think they hold any weight, or do you think they're just crazy ramblings of people online? Let me know. See you next time.